brief overview of government correspondence. We will cover today Army correspondence, which will involve Army standards and purpose, Army regulations, and colonel preference. Every 3 years we have a new colonel, so colonel preference definitely depends on what he likes and how the correspondence will be delivered. Our reference material today will be AR 2550, which is a Army regulation, and it gives us all the specifics about managing and preparing correspondence. We also have an executive correspondence book that the Colonel's Secretary provides to us when we begin our employment, and we also have previously signed documents by each colonel. The AR 2550 applies to all Army personnel or anyone who prepares or manages documents that will be delivered in any business format to anyone involved within the Army or also non-Army organizations or tenants. We have specific guidelines that we use for memos, letters, or regulations that the Army will be producing. And the format is a huge factor when we're talking about Army regulations or policies or anything. But depending on what you are producing will depend on what format that you use and the margins, spacing, etc. The specific guidelines I'll mention today are no auto formatting. Auto formatting can be tabs, indent, automatic indent, anything such as that, but you are not allowed to use auto formatting when preparing an Army document. You must use individual spacing, you must have proper letterhead, you must know who the point of contact is that you are delivering the document to, who it is coming from, and to make sure that all your information is specific and that you know exactly who is getting the document. Peer review is a huge aspect of government correspondence. Before a document goes to our colonel for review, every organization has different divisions and different departments. And every correspondence has to be prepared by an executive assistant, which has the proper documents to follow and format. And from those executive assistants, the director of the department will also review the document to ensure that it is okay for the colonel to then review and sign. Aside from the division that it comes from or the department that it comes from, correspondence will also be handled by the executive office, which is where the colonel is, and his deputy will also review it with his secretary. So we have a lot of peer review that happens in Army correspondence because it is such an elite format. Here today I have an example of Army correspondence. We have our letterhead here in our organization office symbol. We also have spacing. Here I've shown spacing with SP, and also we have 2 spaces here that are highlighted. There are many specifics that happen throughout this document. As you can see here, we have all capital letters, we have manual spacing, we have 2 spaces after the subject. The whole subject is to be capitalized. We have references and we have indent. We have 5-space indent along with 2 spaces after the letter. So indentation, spacing, it's all very important when you talk about Army correspondence. We have also listed memorandums of reference. We have to know when they were dated, who they were to, and if there were any enclosures listed or any documents that we can enclose, we have to list them as well. Here you will see the point of contact reference, which was it's a big part of Army correspondence, because if the person receiving the correspondence has any questions, they will be able to contact this person and ask them any questions or address any concerns that were involved. Also here we have spacing going to the signature block, and we list the enclosures that are actually in the document. Here we have the director of a specific specific, organization, he's gonna be signing the document, and the colonel is to approve the document. Again, it's just spacing, you can't have any automatic spacing or formatting, and as far as the signature block is concerned, I have with me an example of a correspondence. Our correspondence are so exact that once the colonel folds the sheet of paper, the signature block must be in the center of the document. So they actually take the document, fold it in half, and ensure that the signature block is indeed on the center of the document. So anything that is prepared by any Army organization is formatted very well and specific. I would just like to thank everyone for coming today, and I hope I've enlightened you on Army correspondence and that you understand how important it is that we have the correct information, that we're specific and we know what we're talking about, and ensure that we send out exact information so that we don't produce any falsified information.